Last presenter for this segment is Miss Valerie Pugh. Miss Valerie Pugh is from Jackson Independent and she teaches at Jackson City School. The title of her project is Through the Eyes of a Child and she teaches first grade. Let's give it up for Miss Valerie Pugh.
Thank you. Excuse my voice, I've been sick. I do teach first grade, and I've taught kindergarten or first grade for 19 years. And one of the most important things to me is to always make sure that my classroom feels comfortable, cozy. It's a learning environment that the kids, when they walk through the door, that they feel like they want to be there. They feel like they're safe to learn there, and it's just someplace they want to be. And so I've thought, kids can learn better and they're more engaged if they feel comfortable and like where they are. So I'm always trying to come up with new ways to make my classroom better for the kids. And so I was doing some research because this year I have a really large class and I have 30. And I have a lot of different student abilities, just really a diverse class. I have some kids who are developmentally delayed. I have some that's on medicine for ADHD and anxiety. I have learning disabilities, students with behavior plans and counseling. I have a visual impaired child, and I also have a handicapped student who I've had for about 2 weeks that's in a wheelchair. He's nonverbal, feeding tube, trach, vent. And so I just wanted to come up with some way to make these kids feel more relaxed and more calmed. So I was doing some research, and while doing research, I came across an article that talked about how fluorescent lighting in the school is very harmful to children, and it has lots of negative effects on the kids that I never even knew or thought of that it could affect them. And so I started researching that further, and I came across these sky panels or skylights that you can use. And here's a few pictures of the ones that I have. I let the kids help me choose, and so we chose some that look like clouds in the sky. But the lighting in classrooms is extremely important for learning, and it's one of the major causes of stress in children at school. And, that's something that you really don't think about, but it's true, apparently. Of course, I've done a lot of research, and fluorescent lights excuse me, they flicker, and we don't really notice the flicker so much, but they do flicker, and so that causes a lot of different things to happen, like headaches, and it also, that flicker reduces the serotonin in the brain. And it's also a proven fact that there's a link in the child's learning performance and environmental elements such as lights, just your room design altogether, the room temperature, sound enhancements. And for years, schools have used traditional fluorescent lights in classrooms and hallways. And research has shown that fluorescent lights can induce bodily stress, such as some of the negative health effects that have been linked to fluorescent lights are migraines, eye strain, problems sleeping due to melatonin suppression, depression, endocrine disruption, poor immune system, even like increase in breast cancer and tumor formation to adults that's subjected to fluorescent lighting in the workplace, stress, anxiety disorders. And it's an overlooked factor for children's success in school. Why do schools use fluorescent lighting? It's cheaper, basically. Fluorescent light bulbs use 67 to 75% less energy than incandescent bulbs. Studies indicate that many students perform better and have a greater amount, if their classroom has a greater amount of natural lighting from the sun or windows. But that can't always happen because some classrooms don't even have any windows. And so in order to decrease the fluorescent effects and increase more natural lighting, you can use these skylights or sky panels. So I ordered 12 of them. I have them throughout my classroom where all my fluorescent lights were, and the difference is already incredible. I've only had them up for about 2 weeks now, and the kids, when they walked in and saw them, you can tell right away the difference in the lighting. It's just a calmer, cozier lighting. It's dimmer, and it's just really cool, and the kids love it too. So let me change pages. I purchased the sky panels. They were like $35 a piece. So after I purchased 12 of the sky panels, I had some money left over. And so with the money left over, I purchased 2 iPads. I have a classroom set of mini iPads, but I purchased 2 iPads, one for my visual impaired student because he has a really hard time seeing anything I project on my big TV. Even though he sits in the front of the room, he has a really hard time with that. So I give him his own iPad to use at the table, and we have reading and math programs on that, and we do, I don't know if you all are familiar with GoNoodle.com. We do that at our school, and so we have that program on there for him. And then the other iPad that I purchased is for my student who is in the wheelchair and is nonverbal. He loves music. He loves to be read to. And so I've downloaded all of those things that we do in our classroom and different songs and the Go Noodle and all of that on his iPad. And he can take that home and use that at home as well. But I've had these in my classroom for 2 weeks, and some of these pictures, this was a picture of my classroom before the sky panels. You can see the bright fluorescent lights. And then these are some of the pictures of the sky panels that I have. They're all clouds because they have fish, they have all different kinds of things that you could order. But I wanted something that was more natural looking, that imitated like a real skylight. So, of course, the kids chose some that have like butterfly kites, birds, hot air balloons. And so whenever we went on fall break, one of our custodians put them up for me. He said it took about 3 hours to put them all in place. And then I just took some pictures of some of my kids as they came back from fall break on their first day back, and their expressions on their faces when they came into their classroom and saw these beautiful clouds instead of those bright fluorescent lights. And so success or not, I'm just, in order to determine if this classroom project has been a great success or not, I will collect data as in absences compared to like last year to see if that has improved, see if the kids' health has improved. Doctor's excuses, the parent notes, I'll just compare that. Monthly behavior calendars, I do a behavior calendar every day, and I always keep all of those calendars so I can go back and look at the calendars, compare that, and see has their overall behavior increased since I've gotten these sky panels. And then also I will just take anecdotal records if I notice anything that's really, like some of my kids who really have behavior issues. I'll just kind of jot down and keep a little running record on them if I notice some great changes in that. And I guess that's all. So I hope that whenever I come back in April, I will be able to tell you that there's been some great changes taking place in my classroom with behavior and health and just all around better environment for my kids. Anybody have any questions? They're, the ones that I got were $35 a piece. Amazon.com. Mm-hmm. 12. Yeah. They can, yeah, and they can be switched out. Yes, as long as I went to a classroom that had, because some of our classrooms in my school building, you couldn't use them because they have the fluorescent light bulbs that kind of hang down. So
they just fit over the existing?
you take the panels that are over the fluorescent bulbs, you remove those. And there's some little clips that come with the panels, and it takes 4 clips to just clip them on like the frame. So no, it's just a much calmer. The lighting is dimmer and just calmer, and I can already. I mean, it's just been 2 weeks, and I can already tell. I can tell a noticeable difference already. I really can. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about you, but fluorescent lights, they've always kind of hurt my eyes. So I've always used like lamps in my classroom. I always have 2 or 3 lamps anyway. But with this, I really, really like it.
Thank you.